Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 41, the only new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after getting off an elliptical at the YMCA. And today, it's time for an arbitrary rock and roll battle. Let's get ready to rumble! Okay, that's it for production today. We'll put him back there. Okay, actually that's not it for production. I have another boxing thing. Look at this. It's a Muhammad Ali Afro pick. Bet you don't have one of those. If you do, like and subscribe. Okay, so today is an arbitrary rock battle. And by that, I mean I just took two artists, two duos, well not really duos, two duo songwriters, heads of bands, who released EPs this week. And I'm putting them head to head for no other reason other than they both made EPs, and I don't know, that gave me a lot of time to listen to each of their albums once. So this is going to be these massive forces against each other. This is Chemtrails versus Grappell. Garage rock versus soft rock. Skillfully distorted versus pleasantly reverbed. Dense versus lush. Girls versus boys, sisters versus friends, English band signed to a Swedish label versus Swedish band that sings in English. Vaguely spiritually titled exemplary song versus vaguely spiritually titled Christian song on the other side. It's In Its Image versus The Chosen One. Let's go into these two different bands. Basically, it goes down to that first division, like kind of a loud garagey band versus a soft rock band. And before I really get into the battle, I just want to say, whoever loses, we both win. Because these are excellent albums, worth a listen, and I think they're good to listen to together because they hit such different emotional notes. But let's start with our first battle, the first of our super boxers. Okay, that's it, I promise. Chemtrails. Their album is called Cuckoo Spit, which is a terrible name for an album. Actually, Naji, the rapper I reviewed in the last episode, watched my show and responded, which was the highlight of doing this show. So, Chemtrails, if you're watching, I like your album, but Cuckoo Spit, I could do without that title. Still, let's take as an example one of the songs from the album. It's a fairly consistently produced album. The song I chose is called Born in Its Image. Now, stylistically, it's very distorted, garagey rock. But it's also kind of poppy because there's very clear instrumentation. There's many chords in each verse, and you'll hear that in the song. You know, they don't just do 3 chords, they do like 4 or 5. And then they bring in really strong, catchy guitar leads. There's even an actual guitar solo in this song. I think this is maybe the second guitar solo I've heard all year. There's sometimes in the production sort of ethereal background vocals, like almost like angelic vocals. If you listen to this track all the way through, and again, this gets the Skye Stamp, Born in Its Image by the Chemtrails, you'll hear this in the background, like really high soprano singing, like it gets stuck in your head. I can't do it. But that's like one of their great production things that they do that's quite nice. It reminds me a little bit of Freddie Mercury stuff, but not too much, because it's a woman singer, and I'll get to that in a second. Overall, it's a very dense sounding album. Like, everything's packed in. It's almost like Wall of Soundish, kind of Phil Spector-y, sort of just waves, almost even maybe My Bloody Valentine, kind of shoegazy, just very powerful, lots of sound pushed forward. And the only real downside is I would say the vocals. Now, the vocals are good. They're kind of, made me think kind of breederish, kind of like that. A female singer who's very distorted. And I came up with kind of a funny metaphor of like a handsome teenage boy who like has his hair in front of his face. And his mom sees him and he comes down from breakfast and says, "Oh, Trevor, you should get your hair out of your face. You have such a nice face. Why are you covering it up?" That's kind of how I feel about these vocals. Like, there's no need for distortion or for hiding it behind the guitars or this wall of sound. I sort of wish that she'd kind of bring it out a bit more. But that might, blow the whole aesthetic of the album, which is that kind of distorted garage feel. So what do I know? The lyrics, they're an interesting mixture. When they're really good is when they're unexpected. Like on one song, she says, "My breath tastes like despair and Dr. Pepper." That's a good lyric. On this song that I'm really featuring here, there's lots of fun lyrics, and what happens is she either goes with a kind of unexpected turn of phrase, like something that's like just totally out of left field, or she does kind of a Tom Yorkish, take a cliche and then turn it on its head so that it says something different. I'll read you some of the lyrics from this song, the opening lines. I'll do the same for the battle with Grappell soon. The opening lines are, "I got disciplined, doubt and dread keeps me thin." Kind of a funny line. Later, you get kind of the turn of cliche. "All I need is love and a quick death from above. Spontaneous combustion set me free from hopes and dreams of what I'll be. And if the world won't wait, then I'll leave it up to fate." Like kind of cheesy lyrics, but mostly good. So that's Chemtrails. I would say listen to that one song, and that's what the whole thing sounds like. It's only 20 minutes long or so, very consistent, very engaging. If you like any of those things that I said, like distorted guitars with clear angelic vocals in the background, strong lead lines, sometimes there's keyboard lines, I would definitely give it a shot. And what's interesting, and they don't really feature this, they are sisters who write these songs together. So, I don't know, that's pretty awesome. You don't usually get sister songwriting duos. So, that's my segue for this battle. So on the one hand, we had this garage, distorted, dense sisters. And on the other, you have a couple of handsome Swedish devils with names I cannot even come close to pronouncing in the band called Grappell. Grappell? Grappell. I don't know how to pronounce it in Swedish. I texted my Swedish friend. He said Grappell isn't even a word in Swedish. Okay, if you guys are watching, y'all got to get a different name. Because try looking up Grappell, Grappell, in Google. It's like, did you mean grapple? Did you mean grapple? Did you mean grapple? Yeah, that's all it says. Anyway, this is good. It's not really my cup of tea because it's soft rock. I mean, like, think about what you think of when you think of soft rock, like nice guitars, clean singing, pleasant sounding, not too confrontational. But that's what this is. But it's authentic soft rock. I mean, I think it comes from a genuine place. The song that I chose is called "The Chosen One." This is why I should write scripts. I would have avoided putting chosen next to chosen. But anyways, the song that I chose, because I chose it, which is what I chose, and when I choose is what I choose, is the song called "Chosen One." This is very exemplary of their style. It starts off with kind of pedal steel, I guess from the country music heaven of Stockholm. And it's like very vaguely country-ish. It starts off, honestly, it sounds a lot like a good My Morning Jacket song. It has that same kind of very clear, almost messianic vocals of My Morning Jacket when they're not being super experimental. After a verse, the drums come in, nice kind of soft rock harmonies, kind of echoing, kind of sort of like nice, that reverb, soft, comforting echo. At some point, the opening lines are probably the most interesting lines on the album. "I try to talk it over, but you keep spreading your legs, walking over water like it's frozen." And then it ends with the nice, the nice ending of "You're not the chosen one, you're just one." So I don't really know what it's about. I don't know why both of these songs are vaguely Christian, In Its Image and Chosen One. I don't think either of them are trying to say anything really deep, but I think they're trying to hit at some kind of personal truth that maybe we need like a decoder, like we would need to sit with them and talk about it. So that's the battle. The battle to see who's the champ, who's the super boxer number one in this arbitrary rock battle. Again, listen to both. I think one is nice for a snowy, gray day like today. Actually, they both are. Garage rock is great for feeling kind of gray and gritty, and soft rock is nice when you're just trying to relax as well. I would give the victory to Chemtrails just because I like this style more. I think there's more promise in that band. I really want to see what they do. It's more engaging to me. The production's more interesting. It's not as polished, but it's more interesting. I mean, like that song, it starts very distorted, then the chorus kicks in, and it actually becomes very poppy, and then it goes back and has the angelic vocals. So, congratulations, Chemtrails. You destroyed Grappell. Victory. Winners and losers. Okay. The last thing I'll say is maybe my favorite line off of Grappell is he just says at some point, I'm a sucker for rock and roll. And I am a sucker for rock and roll. And I talk a lot about different genres and are they this and are they that and what's the point of genres in the first place. And I was going to review Gucci Mane, but like I just can't do more trap music like the cars and the money and the drugs and the dripping. Like, I might do that the next show. I needed a break. I needed some rock and roll, and they provided it. So thank you, Chemtrails. Thank you, Grappell. And until the next episode, Oh, hey, if you're still watching, I started another channel. So you can see it in the links. It's about video games. It's called Dad Stop Video Game Thoughts. It's okay. It's not great. It's not as good as this. But if you love me talking in the camera, if you're a real sweatband, then you may want to check it out. Or don't. Or wait till it gets better. And the first one is about Smash Bros. It's okay, but Alright. Man, I'm not much of a salesman. There's the camera.